Each primary flight display, PFD, incorporates an electronic attitude director indicator, EADI, an electronic horizontal situation indicator, EHSI, but only in full compass format. It also includes an airspeed indicator, an altitude indicator, also known as an altimeter, and an inertial vertical speed indicator, IVSI. TCAS vertical maneuvers are displayed on the IVSI. The EADI has flight director command bars displayed in either the V bar format or the crossbar format. Each has its own fixed aircraft symbol, this for the V bar and this for the crossbar. We'll use the crossbar format. If there are no bars, the flight director is not selected. To select the flight director, you choose modes on the flight guidance controller. Flying with the autopilot engaged, the autopilot will fly smoothly towards the command bars. Flying manually, you fly towards the command bars. The pitch scale is in 5-degree increments, and the roll scale is marked at 0, 10, 20, 30 degrees, with a triangle at 45 degrees, and a final mark at 60 degrees. The 60-degree mark is only visible at higher bank angles. A slip-skid indicator shows lateral acceleration and moves with the roll pointer. When slipping to the left, the indicator is on the right, and when slipping to the right, the indicator is on the left. The top area of the PFD is the Flight Mode Annunciator, FMA, that displays Flight Director, Autopilot, Yaw Damper, and Auto-Flight Control System messages. Flight Director lateral modes are displayed on the top left, and vertical modes on the top right. Captured modes are displayed here in green, and armed modes here in white. Notice that there are 2 armed vertical modes. During the capture phase, the captured mode goes green with an asterisk. Reverse video draws your attention to any change for a few seconds. When fully captured, the asterisk disappears and the change is highlighted again in reverse video. At the bottom of the FMA, this indicates autopilot errors or engaged status. On the non-active side, or the non-flying pilot, an arrow points to the active side, or to the flying pilot. This corresponds to the active arrow next to HSI Select on the flight guidance controller. But there's no annunciation on the active side itself. In the center of the FMA, you get Flight Director abnormal conditions and mismatch messages. Below 2,500 feet, radio altitude from the radio altimeter is shown here. The digits change in 10-foot increments above and in 5-foot increments below 200 feet. You get oral radio altitude annunciations at 2,500 feet.
2,500.
At 1,000 feet.
1,000.
At 100 feet.
100.
And then from 50 to 10 feet.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
At 200 feet radio altitude, the rising runway comes into view. Similarly, decision height, also set on an ICP, is shown here, with a flashing alert 100 feet above the decision height, which stays steady at and below the decision height. At decision height, you'll also hear minimum. When tuned to an ILS frequency, the glide slope pointer and scale and the localizer pointer and deviation scale come into view. Here you're 1 dot below the centre of the glide slope beam. And here, 2 dots above. When you overshoot the scale, the pointer is parked outside the outer dot, and the diamond turns into an arrow. If you overshoot below 1200 feet, you're alerted by a flashing pointer and scale, and you get the excess deviation message on the FMA. The localizer scale is 6 times more sensitive than a normal scale, and the dots mark the Cat 2 limit. Like the glide slope, the pointer is parked for excessive deviation and flashes below 1200 feet with an FMA message. When flying on the FMS in vertical navigation mode, the VNAV vertical deviation scale is shown here. The magenta V and diamond pointer remind you that FMS is the input source. When approaching the runway, you'll see the marker beacon annunciators. A letter O on a cyan background flashes when passing the outer marker. An N on a yellow background flashes over the middle marker. And an I on a white background indicates an inner or airway marker. You can hear their idents via the ARC2. Let's briefly cover the EHSI part of the PFD. We'll go into more detail on nav indications in later lessons. The PFD shows a conventional compass format, with the fixed aircraft symbol, course pointer, to from triangle. Here we're flying towards VOR 1, and the course deviation bar and scale. You can choose 2 bearing pointers. Here the white circle points to ADF 1, and the green diamond to VOR 2. Reminders are shown below the EHSI. You have the heading bug, set by the glare shield heading knobs, with its digital readout. Below the navigation source annunciator is its radio nav frequency and its DME distance, and a yellow H if the distance is set in DME hold mode. The airspeed indicator goes from 30 to 400 with marks every 10 knots. In the middle is the digital value. A VMO speed cue shows prohibited speeds above VMO. When you speed into this area, the digital reading goes red, and 2 knots above VMO, you get the overspeed warning. Two speed bugs, number 1 and 2, can be set by each pilot. The left and right bugs, 1 and 2, are independent. Each bug has a digital reminder. All bugs are for information only and have no effect on the autopilot or other systems. You set the bugs on the index control panel with this selector and rotating the knob. The altimeter shows barometric altitude in feet on a scale up to 50,000 feet. Leading zeros are replaced by hashes. At the top is the pre-selected altitude, set on the glare shield flight guidance control panel. The pre-selected altitude goes yellow when you are within 1,000 feet of the pre-selected altitude or deviate by more than 250 feet from the pre-selected altitude. At the bottom is the baro set digital reading in inches of mercury, or millibars, or hectopascals, set on either index control panel. Note that all ICP knobs are rate-aided. The faster the rotation, the greater the increment set by the knob. The inertial vertical speed indicator, IVSI, has a fixed scale showing plus and minus 5,000 feet per minute, with an expanded range from plus and minus 1,000 feet per minute. TCAS resolution advisories are displayed on the IDSI. In the red range, the needle, its vertical line, and the digital readout go red. You should fly to the green.